welcome to the discussion segment of Good Morning Anambra. Good to have you here. My name is Choma. Okay, this morning we have a nagging topic to talk about. Of course, I'm sure everybody will want to sit up and say, tell us more of what has been trending. I don't even understand what people have been saying. Let's hear it today. So you sit back. The new tax regime, the myths and the realities is what we'll have coming your way this morning. And you know I'm a broadcaster, though I should know a little of everything, but this time around I had to gather professionals to talk about this. The first person is Esosa Mbachu. Esosa Mbachu is FCTI Anambra State Chapter, and then Anambra State Chapter Coordinator, Society of Women in Taxation. Good morning, Efosa. Esosa, not Efosa. Okay, it's a guy that is Efo.
Yes.
And the women is Eso.
Yeah.
What's the meaning of that?
It's still unique. It's a compound word, though it means blessing, favor.
I know you want to take out the
Yes.
Good morning and welcome.
Thank you very much.
Okay, I also have Lady Ifoma Oka for FCTI Tax Consultant. Incidentally, I told her that she's bearing my other sister's name. So she is my sister. Welcome, Lady Ife.
Thank you.
Okay. So I don't know the meat. I know that they say by January 2026, there's going to be a new tax regime whereby if you are earning from 800,000 per annum upwards, you'll be paying, is it 20%? I don't want to hear, because when the day I calculated my own, I almost started crying. I say, I hope this is not real. Okay, you'll be paying perhaps 20 or 25% of your salary monthly. Okay, and then it continues. Anyway, let me not just go there. Like I said, I've got experts that are going to talk more on that. But then this idea of the myths and the realities, which of course everybody is saying, is this possible? Is it going to happen? I think this is not right on the citizens. So let's look at that. Let me start with you, Ifoma.
All right, thank you so much.
Okay.
Actually, we all know what a taxation is all about. It's a compulsory levy by the government on the citizens to help the government generate revenue. Because without taxation, the government cannot really do much. We all expect good things from the government, provision of social amenities, infrastructures. We need good roads, we want good roads, good health care, and all whatnot. But one thing we don't like to be talked about is taxation. Nobody wants to pay tax. And we forget to understand that without taxation, government cannot actually perform. All these good things we are expecting from the government comes from taxation. So when we pay our taxes properly and as and when due, it will enable the government to do their own part. So it's an essential tool of a fiscal policy that we cannot do without. That is taxation. So concerning the new tax reform, so many speculation, so many myths and false information is going around. And we are just here to tell people it's not what they think. It is not what they think at all. Because we've heard so much, people are calling us on phone as tax consultants. They say that this is about the new tax reform. For example, some people are saying that the new tax reform means an increased taxation for everyone. No, and I'm here to tell them it's not what they think. The new tax law actually is for good. It's for the benefit of all and sundry. It's for the benefit for the good of the citizens. Now, the new tax reform exempts everybody that earns 800,000 per annum and below from paying tax. Is that not a good one? Before now, everybody must pay something to the government as tax. But with the new tax reform, come 1st January 2026, anybody that is earning 800,000 and below per annum is exempted from payment of tax. And I think that's a good one. It now means a progressive tax for the nation. The more you earn, the more you pay. In fact, the low-class income earners and the middle income earners are almost they're exempted from paying taxes, except the high net worth
I don't think the middle
individuals.
is exempted.
Yes, if you know, some people don't even end up to 500,000 in this country in a
They are
year.
not middle, they are low class.
They are low
Anything
class.
from 1 million down is low class.
So people from 800,000 and below are tax exempted completely.
That's the low class.
Whether you are underemployment or you are self-employed, the good thing is that 800 and below is exempted from tax. It wasn't so before the new introduction of the new tax reform.
It's okay. Let's move on.
Again, people are afraid of this. They say, I must get my tin, I must get my tin. And people are rushing.
We'll get to that. We'll get to that. We'll have a lot of time to talk about it.
Okay.
But let's be able to lay the foundation of what we're going to talk about. We know tax is not new. It's not new. As for Jesus Christ paid tax in the Bible.
Exactly.
And then there has been this Roman, taxes on the Israelites. And there's so many of them. But it's so sad. This new tax regime, why must it come at this time when everybody in Nigeria is complaining that nothing is working, high cost of living, you can't pay school fees for your children, you cannot be able to even eat good food in your house, and then you are paying you are paying a tax that does not fetch you anything. Like here in Anambra State, we provide basically everything for ourselves. You buy the land, you are going to build your own private house. You provide water for yourself. You will do the road that will lead to that place. And a whole lot of things. In fact, that government does not do anything for you. That you do everything for yourself. Okay? And then you are paying tax. What is this tax for? Let's hold it there. But now, we want to find out who is affected. Who does the new tax regime affect the most? Ordinarily citizens? Is it businesses or high-income earners? We have established from Lady Ifoma now that the low and the middle class came into this 800. Of course, I said no, that if you are in anything less than 1 million, you are a low class, to be honest with you. So who will benefit or who will lose more in this tax regime that is coming up?
Okay, thank you so much. Let me take it a step further from where Lady Ifoma stopped. When we look at the tax reform, I think when you were trying to bring up what I should talk about, it was as if it came, did it come at the right time, at this point of the economy? The beauty part of it, when we look at it, might not be the right time, it might be the right time. The point there is this. The reform itself, if you look at the whole bill, is still for the goods, in as much as whether it is the appropriate time or not the appropriate time. When you compare what is going on in Nigeria and other African countries, we compare our tax to GDP rates, you find out that ours is at the bottom. So then when you now say, is it supposed to be at this time? Now that time you are supposing whether it's supposed to be now or not, that is also the reason why that reform has come, to help the low-income earners, and also saying, instead of saying everybody should pay equal, we have people that earn more. The more you earn, whether business or individual, instead of putting that burden to say everybody pay a flat rate. So you find out that under that particular question, it then means it is the right time. What you earn, what you get as a business, if you make a profit of, let's say, 10 million naira, and I'm making a profit of 1 million naira. And when you look at your revenue and you compare my revenue, and let's say your revenue is 2 billion, my revenue is 100 million. So what we had before, we are being equated to pay the same percentage. You just say, okay, this is a large company. We face the same thing. In the new reform is saying no. At this point, let us grade these people properly. Look at their profit, look at their turnover. They are not equal. So you find out that if you compare that, you find out that the reform is then coming at the very, very right time. And in the former Finance Act we had, that was saying if you earn 25 million and below, you are a small company, you are exempted. In the
It's just that
reform,
there has always been pay ye,
yes,
pay as you earn in Nigeria
Yes.
since I was a young girl in secondary school. So it has always been there. We're not paying the same thing. That you earn 3 million and I earn 1 million. Our taxes are not the same, even in the civil service. So what is different here?
yeah, the difference there, in as much as, you know, the reform is holistic, in the sense that this is the biggest reform we've had for decades. So it's not just looking at, while we look at payee, we also look at the company aspects. That's those that are trying to survive, maybe those in the market, those in the informal sectors, the small companies, the large companies. Since the new reform is saying there will be no longer small, medium, and large. It is now two classifications. We will now be having small companies and large companies. So as a result of that, if you look at it, previously, if your revenue is, say, 40 million, 30 million, you are subjected to company income tax. The new reform is saying, no, we want to lessen this burden on you. We want to reduce the burden on you. Therefore, we exempt you from tax. And it's saying, if you've rendered certain services where at the end of the financial period, your turnover is below and you'll be deducted, VAT has been deducted, you can ask for a refund, which was never what was in the system. We've never had such in Nigeria.
Until you ask for the refund in Nigeria and it's refunded to you.
Yeah, it
then
will be
you know,
it will be refunded.
If it's
not, yes, it will still be there as a note. As a VAT note, which you could still utilize if eventually.
Okay,
so
I know I once bought a flight ticket to fly. I did not fly again. That was about 8-9 months ago. I'm still going for the refund till tomorrow. Okay, let's look at, you have just made a very salient point here that this new tax regime has eliminated the middle class. And I want to find out from Lady Okafor, what is the implication of elimination of the middle class? Not just in taxation, in productivity, in the economy generally.
Okay, thank you. Elimination of the middle class, you know, is going to be so beneficial to the whole nation. You understand? It's not just to those class of people alone, because when these the middle companies, there's no longer a middle company. So before now, these middle class companies do pay their taxes, their company income tax, and it's affecting them. But now that they are eliminated, you're either large or you are a small company. It's a big benefit because it will now help these middle class companies that are now graded under the small companies to make more profits.
Are you sure they're graded under the small company?
Yeah, definitely, because if your turnover is not up to 100 million, you are automatically a small company. But before now, they are the middle class companies. But automatically, even if you're making 90-something million now as a profit, as a turnover, you are under the middle small class company that used to be the middle. Before now, it was 25 million. So anything above 25 to certain is middle. So they are now exempted. It's a credit to the middle class companies, which in general will benefit the entire nation. So it's good. It's a good one.
I don't like this combination.
It's a good one.
But I'm just see how I can manage two of you here. Honestly speaking. Because the intimidation is too much. I'm not an economist, but at least I know that's this problem that is created by eliminating the middle class in every economy. And that is total capitalism. And who survives under that kind of regime? Okay, if you are not small, you are big. And then, so what happens if you find yourself at the middle? You want to put something?
Yes, I think it's not as if it's like a total elimination. It's just like a little child. The entity, the company is a legal entity which you expect to grow. if you are in the informal sector, you are expected to grow from being informal into the formal
Expected to
sector.
grow how?
Yes.
What is put in place for you? Is there any way you are funding his company? They go to get loan from banks. You will give them a kind of interest that they won't be able to pay. They source money. Some sell their lands. Some have diaspora influence to build a company, and then you use tax and kill it.
Oh, that's beautiful. No, that's why this reform is there. While you are growing, the government say you will be exempted from company income tax. Try to keep your documents properly. It's a way of encouraging you see a lot of these are small business, or you want to grade them as middle business. They don't keep proper documents. That's why in the new reform you see something like e-invoicing. Keep your documents properly. At that point, you'll be able to ascertain your level. And you can now say, this is my level. This is where I was last month. This is my position this month. This is my position this quarter. This is my position this year, and so on. So when that is properly documented, you can see the owners of that business, or whether the shareholders or the owner of you can now systematically or automatically see your grade level, which is what is expected. Business is expected to grow. Every large business today was once a small business.
You know, plotting the graph for yourself, is there any other system that is plotting the graph for you?
Yes.
To know when you are growing and when you're coming down? Because most times you're talking about growth. Some business come down.
One of the
because of the environment where they find themselves.
Yes, one of the things that also help. While the government is looking at this, they are looking at also improved revenue generation, to also improve their performance. Like people will say, the government is not doing this, you are not doing this, you're expected to do this. If you fold your hands and say, I'm not going to pay tax, 2 wrongs doesn't make right. It is a way for you to, it's your social responsibility. So if you sit back and say, I'm not going to do it, the road is bad. We have a lot of things. The healthcare is there. A lot of things the government do. They might not be there, but they are also trying. The government is putting a lot.
What do they do in healthcare? And they still go outside the country to go and treat themselves.
Yes, they do. That has to be a constitutional that allows
now. I just want to tell you that there's nothing in the healthcare. You go to hospital, you pay. Apart from Anambra State, where we have ASHA, you know, where you have this health insurance that you go, but some people are still complaining. There's still pockets of issues with that one. Somebody told me that he went to an hospital and then find out that that's the way they treat them. Are you ASHA? I go to that side. Okay, if you are not ASHA, then you come here and see the consultants. And that kind of, I say, what kind of thing is that?
Yes,
you know?
When it comes to that, that's why you see we are still in that growing economy. We hope to attain the height you see in most of the African countries. I don't want to go to, say, US or Britain when there are emergency cases and so on. So we are trying to attain that height. And the government is putting a lot in place, trying to talk to those people that are supposed to render such services.
It's okay. You know, while we look at the myths now, you know, the misconception about this, I'm sorry, I am the presenter, but I represent everybody. Maybe this is why people are not very comfortable with this tax regime, because they felt they provide basically everything for themselves. That's nothing government is doing for them. There are some roads that have lasted for over 15 years that are bad. It hurts your vehicle, it hurts your life, it causes accident, people die. And then, yes, government collects taxes every month, every day, every year, and they won't fix those roads. When they get this money, what do they do with it? That is where the problem is. Like now, you have been collecting this money, we didn't see the progress on ground. This one that now you want to do it at this large scale, by squeezing the last blood in our system. What again are you going to do with this? But let's leave it there and then get into the myths now. Now that we're looking at the myths, Lady Ifeoma, how are you going to convince our people that this taxation, the new tax regime, is not exploitory? They are not out to exploit them again. How?
Okay. One thing we have to understand about the new tax system is that it consolidated so many tax laws, over 110 taxes and levies into a simplified, unified framework that will align the objective, that's the purpose of taxation, with the today's business realities, while boosting revenue generation. People are not to be squeezed so much. Honestly, this tax reform, when it commences by the year 2026, the citizens will actually see that it's for their good. It's for the benefit of all. Because by consolidating so many taxes and levies in a simplified and a unified tax system, so many levies, so many impositions of taxation will drop. And it's a credit I still maintain. It's a credit whereby people complain of multiple taxation. You pay this, you pay this, these people come for this, these people come for this, these people come for this. From the same source, you're paying all these taxes and levies. Whether you call it tax or you call it levy, they are all taxes. Now they are consolidated into one unified unit, whereby you pay and you have your peace. So I still maintain it is for the benefit of the public. But now, because of many speculations, people are afraid. They believe these people have come again to extort us. No, it's not extortation. It is, honestly, it is for the benefit of all and sundry. Because multiple taxation will no longer be there. You just pay and you receive your receipt of payment and it settles it. Nobody comes to disturb you further to pay this, pay this, pay that, pay that, pay that. No. At a glance, you now see what you're paying, and you have in mind that when I pay this, I have my peace. Is it not a good one?
It depends on whether you're going to have the peace or not. You know, there was something I was looking for. I didn't get it. There's this draft that, was circulating that we saw that said that if you are earning 800,000 and below per annum, that you are exempted. And then if you are earning 800 and above, you would pay tax. And then they brought it back down. Like if you are earning 800, and that means you earn around 60-something thousand naira, okay, per month. Yeah. So if you are earning 60-something thousand and tax of 20,000 is removed from it, is it 20 or 25? That's what I'm looking for. I couldn't find it. It's removed from it. Then you have 40-something thousand going home every month.
Okay, let me specify that.
Please go ahead.
This 25% they are talking about, we have the tax band that ranges from 0 to 25. It is not just holistic, whereby you just tax the income on 25%. No. It has a rate. You apply the rates, the bands accordingly. From the first 800,000 is 0%, zero tax. Then from 2.2 million, 15%. You understand now? Then 9 million is 18%. Then 13 million is 21%. Then 25 million, and the 25 million is 21%. Then above 50 million is now that 25%. How many Nigerians make above 50 million per annum? That is the question. So it's not just that you go straight to tax people on 25%. No. It's a gradual.
Now you come now.
There's a breakdown according to the tax band.
Okay.
Then you proceed. Some people might not even get to 18% before their income is exhausted. And you end it there. Some won't even get up to 15. Just at 15%, you have exhausted their income. You end it at 15. That is why we say this new tax reform is very progressive. The higher you make the income, the higher your income, the higher you pay.
But the last cut is 25.
Yeah, it's people that the last cut is 25%. That is when you're making above 50 million per annum. That is where that 25 million comes into play. If you're not making up to 15 million per annum, your tax rate will not extend to 25%. I don't know whether you got it right now.
I do.
So
I do.
It's not a straight application.
Now
Yeah.
we understand, because that's exactly what I told you now. Because once we started, also if you're earning 64,000 naira, they will minus 25% from
No.
64,000 naira.
If you're earning 4,000, definitely you're tax exempted. Because by the time you multiply 64 times 12, it doesn't give you up to 800,000. You're not paying anything at all.
You sure?
Yes, very sure.
Okay.
Very sure.
Okay, because I earn 64,000.
No, that's not
Maybe
you.
that's why I'm
Don't pray for
about
that.
that one. Okay, this is civil service. Is there no, okay, let's look at exemptions, because now we'll talk and talk and talk. What about civil servants that you know that most times your what do you call it, your salary is not progressive? It is not. You go for promotion and they will add 3,000 upon your salary. Or 2,000, some 1,000 something. Annual promotion is not up to 3,000, just like that. So how do you, is there any kind of arrangements you have for civil servants? Or are we going to pay anything, the same thing with the business guys? Yes.
No, there's no, once you are in that minimum, it's the difference that is being subjected to tax.
The difference of what?
Yes. If you are earning 1 million, right? The minimum is 800. The difference between 1 million and 800 is 200. Yes, that's what will be subject to tax. Yes, that exemption will still be there for you. And when you talk about in terms of the salary, that is why the government came up with the minimum wage. And I believe they will still have in mind, based on the last agreement that was made concerning the minimum wage. With time, those things should be taken care of, I hope so. And then when it comes to saying after promotion, the grade, when you are stepped up, the difference, I think that has to do with another, is like offer and acceptance, in the sense that that should be taken care of also by a committee, considering the purchasing power.
Are you just saying this to calm me down?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, because I don't know, all this, like say, keeping this, at the end of the day, you keep writing letters and keep writing letters, nobody will attend to you. I'm sure you are just saying that to, to calm me down. Okay, I'm calm. Let's come to the government. Let's look at the accountability, because that's where we're having issues. Lady from accountability. People are asking, over years, the government has been borrowing and borrowing and borrowing, and we don't see where they invest this money. They are borrowed to the extent of borrowing from pension state, and you keep wondering what's going on in this country. So how are they going to be accountable to the citizens that this money that we are cutting from your earnings, that this is what we are doing with it?
Okay, actually, accountability and transparency is of essence. Why dealing with a public fund? Because that is what will energize the citizens to comply with the tax laws. Actually, when people are paying and they don't see the effect of what they are paying, it demoralizes the citizen from doing more. Yes, but I must tell you that in as much as we can't say that the government is doing 100%, and for being human, I don't think it's all that easy to attain 100% success in whatever we do, especially when it comes to accountability concerning a public fund. I will just say that I think the government is actually doing something, though we might not be able to see it all. We might not be able to see, but I believe. Just take our governor, for example, Soludo. We can see, for the number of years he has been on seat, at least we can see what he has achieved. In as much as he has not been able to construct the whole roads in Anambra State, at least to some extent, we can see that some of the roads are constructed that are in good shape now. So I believe that if he can do this within just first tenure, and we have re-elected him for the second tenure, We just hope and believe that he will do more. Having the support of the citizens by re-electing him, I think it's a good support for him to now do more. So, but our own is to do our own part first. Let's perform our civic responsibilities. And then it will now empower us to demand for more accountability. When you do your own part, you now have the voice and the power to demand for what is due to you. But when you shy away from your own responsibility, you can't hold somebody else accountable for what he or she did not do well. That is the point.
Okay, we've been talking on the new tax regime, which is a national issue. But now that you have decided to bring it down to the states by bringing in Governor
I just want to start from where we
I
are.
know, but bringing in Governor Suludo.
Charity begins at home.
Okay, let's now give you, maybe perhaps let's now show you what people are expect when you place this kind of taxation upon them. You do the kind of things that perhaps the governor have done in the state, which has given our parents respite. That when you make money, at least to be able to feed your children properly, pay your house rent. Of course, I think he's going to look into that one because the house rent in this place is very exorbitant. Most of them that are what do you call it? That are civil servants, are annual salary don't pay. Annual salaries don't pay for our rents. To be honest with you, you get a 2-bedroom flat, they tell you 2.something million naira. Do I earn 2 million naira as my annual rent? And then that's where you have to live and work for government. Okay? But I heard he wants to look into rentage in this state, which is very good. So as I was saying, this is exactly what we also expect the federal government to do. In these states, we don't pay school fees. You complain to me, I say, take your children to public school and stop. Don't come here and disturb me to private school when there's free education from primary to secondary school that you can take your child to. Even some people, some of our indigenous that are living outside the states are coming, outside the states, are bringing in their children to come and go to school in Anambra State because that's free education. Just recently, there are 1 or 2 teachers or principals that are under punishment because they collected levies. So this is how you put up, what do you call it? You put up a proposal and supervise it, okay? Now, having said that, if the federal government is going to collect this tax and then put up most of these bills that parents are carrying, one is education, all the federal institutions, remove school fees now, remove all those levies that we pay so that parents can also get a respite as they pay the tax. You start from there. Provide good hospitals that you can go and then enjoy the benefit of your tax. These are the things we'll ask about. Build road, put infrastructures in place so that we'll know that our taxes are working for us. I remember, I don't know that governor that will always, after finish constructing a road or whatever, you say your tax is working for you, and that kind of a thing. That's what we want to see around. Okay, having said that, let's now come back home. How does the state and the federal government share this tax? Do they collect it and go home at the federal level? How does it trickle down here? Or we pay at the federal level, we'll come back and pay here, or everybody pay where you are? Yes, let me come to you, Isusa.
Okay, when it comes to those taxes, we have taxes that are paid to the federal government. We have the ones that are paid to the states. For example, like the company income tax is paid to the federal government. The same thing with the value-added tax. And in this tax reform, you could see there was an increase in the allocation that comes to the states. In the VAT that's been paid, 10% goes to the federal government. 55% goes to the states.
The VAT?
Yes. 35% goes to the local government. So at the end of the day, where's the money?
No, 10% to federal.
10 to federal, 55 to the state,
To state,
35
to the local government.
to the local government. Now, when you now come, those are according to, then we have other taxes like the petroleum profit tax, the development levy, they go to the federal government, which are also, you see them, they go to the federation account, and at the end of the day, they are all being reallocated. I don't want to go to that reallocation table now, whether according to production and so on. Now, we also have those other taxes that goes to the states directly. like the personal income taxes, business premises, fire services, and so on. So we have the ones we collected by
They
state.
deduct them as source?
Yes.
Or they collect as tertiary?
Okay, beautiful. For the companies, for company income taxes, if you do a contract, those ones are deducted at source, whether states.
Or federal?
Yes. And if you have some companies that do some of those business for you, are supposed to withhold certain percentage at source and remit it on behalf of the federal government. Now, that withholding tax that is withheld from the company at source and deducted. So when it's remitted, it still goes back. The taxpayer still uses that to offset his company income tax. When you now come and say, okay, I've finished my contract, this is how it went. The withholding tax is a credit note that is still there for you to use to offset your taxes. So it's just that it is being withheld at source so that you don't run away with the money or so. So whenever you now make your remittances, it is right there for you. So, and for the payee, those that are states, that work with the state, it is deducted at source. Those that work in the private sector, the owner of those companies, they are supposed to withhold those tax from the taxpayer and also remit it at the appropriate time. Then other, like business premises, they are all time bound accordingly, depends on they have their different dates of remittances. The taxpayers are supposed to also remit such. So it's when those remittances are not done at the appropriate time, it appears as if the government or the tax authority is chasing them. When those things are filed at due time and you do the appropriate, nobody is disturbing your business.
Are you as an individual going to pay these things differently? How, I want to understand. Okay, please.
Okay, go ahead.
So, like what she has just said concerning the business loans and all those other levies, I'm happy and proud to say that they are consolidated into one unified payment now.
Okay.
So, as it is now, with effect from January 2026, people will not be that are in the, especially the informal sector, because that is where the problem normally comes, because they don't keep their records and they shy away from facing the penalties. So it is now consolidated that the Internal Revenue Service now is now mandated to collect all the revenues that is due to the state government. It's no longer a question of the state internal revenue coming to chase you for this, pay tax, withholding tax, and all the water, and the local government will still come for this ministry will come for business premises, this people will come
This
for
consolidation has always been around.
No, but before now, you pay your business premises separately. If you're in a business, you pay your ASWAMA separately. You pay your, if you're under health, you pay your for the national health there's a fee they pay to the Ministry of Health. You now pay your signage. You now pay for so many things, fire service and village and all whatnot. But now the ARS has the authority now to come and collect once and then disseminate to the local government and the MDAs what is due to them. So you can now see that the informal sectors or whoever is in business will no longer be disturbed by many people, various revenue collectors. Because it is worrisome where the signage people there will come, ASMA will come, health insurance will come, village will come, fire service will come, internal revenue service will come. It's worrisome. Now the ARS has the power to collect at once and then give to the local government what belongs to them, give to the MDAs, like the signage people, the ASWAMA, the business premises, and so on. You now give them their own share. So it's a good one.
It's a good one indeed.
Yes, it reduces the multiplication of taxation.
But that's what they will tell us initially, and later we'll start having a bottlenecks here and there. Okay, let's look at the challenges. What kind of challenges you think we're going to face in this new tax regime come January? I'm still coming back to you, Lily.
All right. The challenges I don't think will be much
except that people don't don't make haste while the sun shines. This tax reform was signed into law on the 26th of June 2025 to commence from 1st January 2026. You can see that like by 6 to 7 months gap interval is given. But most people are still there waiting for that 2026 to come. Let's see what happens. Instead of them now to start preparing themselves for this new tax regime, do what you ought to do as a company, what is expected of me, what records am I supposed to keep, what am I supposed to do, so that I won't fall into trap. They are still waiting. Some are still believing it's not true. Let 2026 come first, then let's see how it goes. That is the major challenge that people will face. Because if you don't make it where sun shines, definitely our people says you pursue a black goat in the daytime, because when it's dark, you can't identify between the black goat and the darkness. You can't chase the black goat. But our people will always wait for the dying minute. They wouldn't like to do what they are supposed to do until it is late. So I don't think that this new tax reform has so many challenges, except for the people that are causing the problems for themselves by refusing to comply with the necessary tax laws, refusing to do what they are supposed to do, refusing to remit what they are supposed to remit, refusing to keep the proper records they are supposed to keep.
Okay.
That is the challenges.
Okay, and when we talk about challenges, initially you wanted to talk about the registration, the team registration. I asked you to hold on. When we talk about challenges, is it going to be part of the challenges we're going to face? What is team? How do you register? Do you need it for you to be able to get to pay your tax from January on?
Okay. The new tax reform mandates every taxable individual to register and obtain an ID, tax ID. So if you already have your TIN, it's good. You don't need to bother yourself about getting another TIN number, that's your TIN, tax identification number. If you already have your TIN, it's part of the tax ID we are talking about. If you don't have the tax ID, the law says your name, your national identification number, can be linked with your BVN, and it settles it.
It settles it?
Yeah.
So it's not a must you go?
No, you must not go to register for the TIN. Once you have your name linked to your BVN, it's an enough identification for you, for your bank transactions. And this is what people ought to know. But you know our people, once they say you must have your tax ID, even those that already have the TIN are still rushing to get a new TIN. That say that one is no longer legal. No, it's not like that. Because I know that most of the civil servants already have this TIN.
Yes.
They have it. But when you're telling them, don't bother yourself, you don't have a problem. They will say, no, I heard that the government says that you must have a TIN number, and they are rushing.
You see it. I think that's
it. So your name or your TIN settles it.
Is your TIN.
So when you don't have any of them now, if you don't have your name,
that's where you go
you
for
don't
your
have
TIN.
your TIN, that is where you must go and register and obtain at least one of them.
Is it everybody or just the civil servants?
No, it's everybody.
Anyway.
If you have your
taxable
name
adults, yes. If
and
you
your
don't have
BVN.
any income, if you're not making any income, it's not even necessary for you. But if the law says for taxable adults.
Taxable
And who
adults,
is a
whether you
taxable
are
ad-
working
who
or
is
you're
a
a
taxable adult?
businessman.
Anybody that engages in any business activities for making income. That is a taxable adult.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. We'll go for a break now and we'll come back shortly to start running. Okay, welcome back. We are still looking at the midst of this new tax regime that is taking off January 1st, 2026. Yes, before we went on break, I was talking with a lady, Ifeoma Okafor, on whether I am supposed to register for TIN, which will be an enabler for the new tax regime, as a civil servant. And she said no, that if you have your name and you have your BVN, you're already registered, you are taxable, you have a channel through which you'll be taxed, even though I don't want to be taxed. Okay, so, but now let's emphasize more on that. What about adults that are in okay, let's just say a trader, okay? And he doesn't have any defined company, but he buys and sells. And then another category, those of them that run company, corporate businesses, that kind of a thing. So do they need to register for 10 before this, the new tax regime starts January?
Okay, for a company that's already existing, if you've been enrolled into the tax net, that is to say you are operating, you've been registered with a CAC, you already have your TIN. You don't need a fresh TIN. Your bank account is running. The only category of companies that might need to be enrolled in the tax net are those that have been registered. They have their RC, but they are not yet in the tax net. They need to run to the closest Federal Inland Revenue Service so that they will be enrolled. Now, why do they need to do that? They need to do that because they should take note that the new tax reform also gives room for banks to declare turnover that is above 25 million per quarter for individual and 100 million for companies.
They have that right?
Yes, they will make it, they will report such. They will keep giving reports on that. Now, for those individuals that might be trading, that don't have any form of tax ID, whether in the states like the ANSYs or so, they need to go to the closest AIRS office to get them enrolled into the tax net. So it is those people that need to be enrolled. If you are a civil servant already, payee, other deductions goes on in your gross earning, in your earnings. That means you already have a tax ID. And in this tax ID, the law is making it in a way that you could even register at your convenience. And the data you need are your personal data, your phone number, your residential address, and your BVN, your NIN. So even when you are doing that registration, you will see that what the Joint Revenue Service are doing there, they are only marrying your information, whereby when you bring those things in those portals that are being circulated, it's just, bring your data, or it's just unifying, it's just making your tax identification is a unique one. It is not changing any of your details. It's just trying to marry it. So that is why the identification is going to be that unique. That your bank account, once the bank have your BVN, they can easily at a glance your information. So that's what the reform is also bringing about. And that is why the reason why we say, when you ask the other question, proper documentation must be made. Like for a lot of companies, they have records of their revenue, but their expenses, they do not document it properly. And the reform is saying anything that is not well documented, those expenses, and the ones that are supposed to be vatable, that VAT were not deducted, they will be plugged back and counted to you as revenue and subjected to tax.
And you pay more.
So that is the reason why.
So if there's any deduction
Yes.
you've made,
You
expenses,
document it.
Document it so
Keep
that they will know
proper
that this one is no
documents,
more
yes.
20 million naira. It is now 16 or 15.
So you document it and all those your bank transactions, so that by the time the bank is reporting that this company at this particular quarter did transaction above, once it's above 100 million, they report. When they report, and at the end of the financial period, at the end of the period, they say, you didn't pay VAT, or you'll be able to say, yes, these were not vatable service, or these ones were meant for social purpose, or I received 90 million, it was, loan or borrow, well narrated. So when those things are done
those ones are not taxable.
yes, it's not supposed to be subject to
Loans.
tax. Yes, you don't subject it to tax because it's meant for you.
For the
It's
business.
a capital you inject to use to trade. It's the profit that comes out of it, and that is why the law also gives the interest on the loan is also allowable. It's an allowable deduction before the income will be subjected to tax. So it's also a relief. If not, the government would have said, okay, you received 90 million, let's tax all the money, 90 million. No, if you receive 90 million and the interest you paid on that 90 million is 20 million, the government will allow you to deduct that 20 million from the whole money you've made before they now check your gain. It is out of what you declared as your gain that we begin to.
More enlightenment.
Yeah, that
People are really understand.
That is why I wanted to come in when you were saying that the companies, they borrow money, the government didn't do anything for them. I just held on. I say, when the time comes, we'll explain. Yeah, because you know if you make a borrow from the bank for your business transaction, you're paying some interest. And the interest is deductible expenses. The full amount of the interest you're paying on the capital you borrow from the bank to reinvest in your business or for your business transaction is allowed. It's a credit.
So how would they know?
Don't you know as when you borrow the 50 million and your interest is 15 million?
Am I going to stop with this?
Yeah, the documents will be there. That is why she said proper documentation.
No, it's not when they come to ask. That's why I'm asking. Do I need, once I borrow this money with all the documentation?
Yes.
Then do I need to go to ARS and submit?
No, not
No,
you know.
you
When
keep
you are
them.
a company, is the one when ARS come for their bank duty,
For their bank
review,
duty. That's for their tax
they
audit.
will ask for your details,
For their details.
account. So at that point, you need to get your sound tax consultant is the one that will come to your rescue. Because when the financials are being prepared and they said this is the turnover of this company, these are the administrative costs, this is the finance cost. Under the finance cost, person will say, okay, these were the interest and commission we were charged by our bank. Because the bank definitely will charge you, they are rendering a service because that fund the bank gives to you, they charge you because they also borrow funds. That's someone's investment and the person is expecting a return. So that's the reason why they charge you for that. So the person will now, your tax consultant will now say, okay, these are the charges on, so the person will deduct it. So you deduct all of those before you subject the remnant. And there's another unique thing about this tax reform. The last one we were operating on, there's something we call minimum tax. Once your turnover is above 100 million, you subject that turnover to minimum tax. And that minimum tax is irrespective of whether you make profit or not. It is the turnover that is subjected to tax. In this tax reform, we have what is called effective tax rate. That is no longer in place, which is a plus.
Really?
It's a plus. And the effective tax rate is saying what? Don't go and pay below 15% of your accounting profit. That is the profit you declare. Haven't done all the allowable deduction, the one you declare that this is your profit. Whatever thing you are paying shouldn't go below 15%.
More than 15%.
It shouldn't go below 15%.
Below, yeah.
This is your profit. You've deducted everything you want to deduct. But in the finance that we're operating, once you hit above 100 million, your turnover is subjected to that 0.2% minimum tax, whether you make loss or not. But this one is not so. You can say, I didn't make any profit. Say that's
Just like that?
Yes.
Just like that?
Yes.
That's so that it's all.
When you didn't make any
No,
profit, you're not paying any tax.
It is
You're
there.
paying from your
So
pocket.
all you need to do, by the time you keep proper documents, it's time for you to do your filing. You get your consultant, because a lot of people, they don't even give the consultant any document. Some will just manage to release the bank statement. Some don't even see what transpired. We had goods that were coming, we had consignment that were damaged. You don't release those information. And not just say we had goods that were damaged. Are there proof? Are there proof? Like those that are into real estate, they'll say, the lands were revoked. Where are the documents? It's not just, so when those documents are properly kept, and when there's a letter say, okay, your transactions were reviewed, we declare that, we saw that these turnovers were not disclosed, these expenses, it is those documents that are your rescue. So, but if you don't keep it, you are just giving a mouth service. There is no place for that in the law.
Keep your documents. Very, very important. I like what we're doing now, but I think you guys need to do more. Okay? You guys need to do more because it doesn't mean that if you're not on television watching us now, you won't be able to know, to have all this information concerning the new tax regime. But that's okay. As we conclude, I've asked this question before. Before I ask that question, let me ask you this one. Money that comes into your account, what about the gift? Somebody send you money from outside the country and the money was, is it taxable?
Okay, that's beautiful. This is another beautiful thing in the reform. it says all income, all taxable income should be taxed. That is to say, if I go to your account, all the income, your company account for example, all the income there should be subjected to tax because that comes
from your private account.
In your private account. No, in your private account, it depends on what you do.
I'm a public servant.
You are a public servant. We know what there's a frame, your salary frame. If the bank report, for example, that we saw 50 million in accounts in this quarter, you'll be called to book. This is your pay. So the remaining, the essence supposed to be subjected to tax. You now say, I received a gift of 30 million from my brother. The law says that 30 million, find out if it has suffered tax. If it has suffered, if there's a proof that money, yes, any money that, so you now see as a result of that, automatically there's like a general tax treaty with the whole country. If there's a proof that that gift you receive, 30 million, 100 million, has suffered tax from where the money is coming from. It's free from
that. Where comes the issue of for those of them that are outside the country that you pay tax outside and you still pay for any money that is in your account?
It's no longer. That's why we said this is the beauty also of the new tax.
Really? There's a lot of misconception about it.
Yeah.
So it's gift. Wow, it's gift of how much? 100 million. From who? From her brother. How comes her salary for the last 3 months is supposed to be, let's say, supposed to be 250,000, and we are seeing 100 million, 250,000 in your account. So we're supposed to subject that 100 million. You are supposed to prove it because the law says even that money, even if you did gambling that is not lawful, or you do any sort of illegal act, we will still subject it to tax, even if it is not yes, even if it's illegal. We are going to subject it to tax. But
so
you now prove
that how legalizing illegality.
It's not illegal, it's the income. So it is said to be taxable. It is taxable.
Okay, let's get this too. This one is a gift, and then let's get this one to the issue of our people that are outside the country that also have accounts, bank accounts running for them here. They say that you pay tax where you live, and you still pay for the one that is in your account in Nigeria.
And that is what she has just explained.
No, it's different.
If the income has been subject to tax where you are,
and you send it home,
into your personal account in Nigeria, the income has been taxed. It can't be taxed twice.
How is it going to prove that?
You have to show you evidence of payment of tax on that income.
If the tax authority call your attention that we are seeing inflow,
just
and this inflow,
I am a pharmacist abroad, and I have been subjected to tax. This is the money I want to send home to have something in my account in Nigeria. Why I have suffered tax from that income where I am in USA? There's no tax authority that will tax that income again.
That has stopped.
Since it has been subjected to tax in America or wherever you are. That's another. And people are still talking about, they say that every money in the bank will be taxed. If you have money in the bank now, it is subject to tax. And people are panicking. They are calling on us. Telling us, we now say, I will now go to keep my money at home. I won't put it in the bank anymore. No, it's wrong. It's a wrong notion. They just say if money in your personal account is above 25 million, the banks are mandated to render a quarterly return to the tax authorities concerning money that is above 25 million in individual accounts, 100 million for companies. So once money in your account is above 25 million, you will be reported to the relevant tax authorities. This is to help them track a taxable income. It's not just that we just go and tax that 25 million that is in your account without knowing the source, without knowing what it is for. It's not so. That is the point. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
And if somebody had sent, let's say, 20 million for land, the person should narrate it. 20 million to purchase land in the village.
Or to
build house for me.
So when your attention is called, the narration there, that's what talk of document. We speak.
Narration during transaction.
Yeah, during transaction.
Whenever I send
for
you
land,
money, I will clarify what that
for
money
building,
is for.
for
The purpose
building.
of that money.
So the next step will be, the person that sent you this money, where is it from? You say it's the one that owns also company in Lagos. The company, he has already paid tax. His company has, and he sent it for building to you. And you that they have now say, no, this money has suffered tax. And it is meant, it is clearly narrated for my building construction. That's all.
So please let people send the money so that more houses will be built. So let them not shy away from sending money for buildings. No, it's not. It's not what it
How can I be
is.
paying tax for over there? They're paying
No,
for
no,
everything
no.
I see.
The reform is
It's
taking
okay
care of
to
that.
clarify all this. Very, very important. I think we have done justice to this topic. And I'd like to thank you very much for coming, Lady Justina and Esosa.
Thank you so much. Esosa, yo.
Okay, Esosa. Thank you very much. Esosa Mbachu, Anambra State Chapter Coordinator, Society of Women in Taxation. Thank you very much for coming. And then Lady Ifoma Okafor, FCTI Tax Consultant.
Thank you so much, Lady Aije.
So that's how it is today. Join us tomorrow for another exciting topic that we will bring your way tomorrow. But for now, relax. We are coming back with Catch the Box.